Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. We are finally ready to produce this podcast. I'd like to welcome my guests today. There's two guests for today. And we're talking with Dr. Hjh Asmah and our return guest, Kalinda. Okay, and why are we talking about brain health today is because Dr. Hjh Asmah is the Vice President of Dementia Brunei. And Kalinda is also the advocate for autism and neurodivergent parenting, parent coach. And so they're very qualified to be talking regarding brain health. So let's hear what they have to share today. And can you please introduce yourself, just a little bit of information?
Okay. Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Dr. Asmah. I am the Vice President of Dementia Brunei as of this year. And I'm also a nurse lecturer at the University Brunei Darussalam at the Pengiran Puteri Rashidah Datul Bolkiah Institute of Health Sciences.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Kalinda. I'm an autism advocate, autism and neurodiversity advocate for about 20 years. And I'm also a parenting coach, autism and neurodivergent parenting coach. And I also run a support group for autism parents here in Brunei. It's been running for 10 years as well. So yeah, I think this is my third time I'm here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very informative. All right, thank you guys. And so you have suggested this topic, and the reason for coming on today is what came about. Because I know you had a session together, kan, at UBD.
Yeah.
That time, and then that's where you first met.
Yeah.
So back in September, October,
That's right, yeah.
I met Kalinda during one of the events. And at that time, it was World Alzheimer's Month.
Oh, yes.
And I have always been an active volunteer for Dementia Brunei. Tapi particularly this year, I wanted to do more. So I learned more about how the brain works and things like that.
Your own self-study lah. Because it's not your area originally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have, my area is mainly on the care of long-term illness.
Right.
You know, macam post-stroke, post-cancer. Macam itu. But brain functioning, jarang sekali. But I have been volunteering lah in raising awareness this previous year. So this year I was particularly more involved lah because of the new role that I was given. And when I met Kalinda, we were talking about brain health in general, tapi different perspective, and I found it very interesting.
Right.
Because I was telling her, Kalinda, I just realized, andang pulang in Brunei, people perceive it differently. They say dementia ani lali because of umur. In fact, it is not. It is the way your brain changes in the way it functions.
Yeah.
It's just change sahaja.
But because we have so many things now in the environment, the lifestyle, right? The culture. And then we were talking about over a piece of tasbih actually.
Right. I was telling Kalinda, I've been we have this new activity where we're using art therapy to stimulate certain parts of the brain.
That's right.
To exercise the motor skill, choosing colors.
That's right.
This is what you know, right?
Painting tasbih, making and painting tasbih.
Yeah, the beads.
And from there on, kami bercerita about how normal brain functions and how people with dementia experience changes, and of course how people with autism experience the world differently.
Exactly.
Because the way their brain
wired is quite the way their brain is wired quite differently, right? People with autism, but doesn't mean that it's any less. Just like people with dementia.
Yes, exactly.
It's there in a way. It's there, but it's how we reach into the brain and how we get the brain to actually really reach its potential. Macam there are different parts of the brain controlling different functions, kan? Macam hearing, listening, sama. Bercakap, thinking, deciding. So for people with dementia, once their brain functions start to change, anitah yang awal-awal affected. How you decide, confusion kadang-kadang. Exactly.
With maybe Linda can talk more with people with autism, sama juga, how they decide on whether to hold or not to stand.
Simple things.
Yeah. Simple things.
Macam short circuit.
Not really.
That's how I see it. Macam, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to do?
No.
I think though how the brain neurons communicate, because tadi ada banyak neurons, right?
The neurons, how they
Is it like
communicate with each
lagging?
other.
Not really. How it
Not
makes a
really.
connection.
How?
Because like I think when you're people with dementia, when you're older, right, those connections just develop slower. Right?
Doesn't mean in the develop at all.
Yeah,
So
because
this
the
is
brain
what,
is actually
Right.
because a long time ago, even when I first got introduced to autism thing, right, we were explained that I think it was called, what do you call it? Can't remember, but something to the brain, right? Neuroplasticity. Yeah.
Yes,
So we were explained that kids with autism, they need to do the early intervention because up to a certain age saja, because that's where you have to do like the main early intervention, the most potential for them to whatever develop. But then scientists, discovered that no, neuroplasticity actually just continues as long as you're still living. But
as long as you're still functioning.
Right.
Yeah.
And this knowledge is applicable to people who are at risk of dementia. Yeah. So dulu, the old knowledge is that once your brain cells die, that's it.
Yeah. But it's not. It
It's
apparently it apa ni orang?
Cells can grow again.
Right.
And
Regenerate.
you can
regenerate.
teach it through rehabilitation. It may not be perfect,
Right.
but masih dapat di-rehabilitate.
Detrain.
Yeah.
Retrain. So that's the thing with not people with autism, right? So it's a matter of training the brain.
Muscle memory.
How we do that, and the reason why certain therapies are being done, right? Certain interventions are being done because it's just to create those brain connections.
So I understand, like on Linda's side, it's what we discussed earlier. It's the autism, the neurodivergent mind, how they cope, how the brain, how we train the brain to do certain tasks, right?
Yeah.
And on your part, Dr. Hjh Asmah's part is the aging mind, the aging body, right?
Yeah.
How
But
the
how you
brain,
also train.
To maintain
the function.
Because
so at whatever stage lah, you
at
can
whatever stage, because as you age satu, your age anang into satu, you cannot control.
It, right?
Tapi your lifestyle,
right,
the diet, your physical activity,
even
all
your
this
social connection.
That's why people who are at risk of dementia, if they have loneliness, makin the time durang diagnose satu makin cepat.
Yeah.
So
the functions also reduced. I guess it's the same with people with autism as well. This is why I always encourage parents, jangan takut, bring your children out. Just bring them out.
It is kind of scary though, right?
It is scary because of the behaviors,
the judgment. You don't. Some people don't want to.
Yeah, but still, you still need to expose them to the outside world.
Like, I have a question regarding on your part, right? So you're saying it's from the normal, not normal, orang indah but not neurodivergent lah. So, when any age can start feeling macam dementia ni kan ta.
So dementia when your brain starts to change in its functioning, particularly in a cognitive ability, macam berfikir, right?
Okay.
As well as memory. These are the two main things. Yeah, it can start anytime, whether we realize it or not.
As young as what age?
It can be as young as 40s and 50s. Tapi without us realizing it, Tapi the risk increases with lifestyle. That's the new finding in research.
Right.
So if you have unbalanced lifestyle, unbalanced diet, the risk, and then you suffer from illness like diabetes, hypertension, heart failure, renal disease, it will affect your brain. And the latest one that I learned is that oral hygiene increases the risk. If you don't have good oral hygiene, you have gum diseases. The bacteria from these gums can travel to the brain and change the way your brain functions.
That was the latest finding.
So I find that so amazing. So I'm like, That's easy to maintain, right? Everyone
Exactly.
brush your teeth.
Yeah.
So it can be as early as 40, 50, depending on lifestyle. Tapi
Wow.
it is definite risk of aging lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what we also learned,
Uh-huh.
as you age, if you continue to exercise your brain,
Right.
making sure that your brain is healthy, that's why we talk about brain health,
Right.
you can maintain this functioning as long as possible until in the lagi your brain need to cover, something like that. So you don't want to be suffering from dementia if you are at risk. You don't want to be suffering at age 50, 60.
Apa? Muda masih betul.
Yeah, because we are living longer.
That's
So
right.
so this year I was really making a point, macam, you know what? Alhamdulillah, our healthcare system is really good. You know, people go to doctors, ada ubat, treatment.
Yeah.
So you want to maintain this lifestyle, and we're living longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So without the brain functioning properly, that will affect our quality of life. So we don't want to lose that at 70. Because we're gonna, inshallah, live till 80. I mean, our
70 still
parents,
young, yeah.
our parents are in their 80s.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you were saying brain exercise, right? What exactly is that?
So brain exercise is how you, macam kita ni exercise your muscle and
The
Yeah,
physical.
because the brain itself is a
exercise.
muscle.
Yeah.
Right. So, how
So
do you
you
do that?
maintain the strength. So
Okay.
kau mengangkat your grocery at the age of 40, you can still carry it at the age of 50. You can still carry it at the age of 60. Macam tu. So
Yeah.
sama je your brain. You can still read one paragraph in 3 minutes at the age of 40, 50, 60.
So it's reading.
Yeah.
No, it's not just reading.
Not just reading.
One is
planning.
reading.
Yeah,
lah.
one. Yeah.
Planning for
Planning.
travel is a big thing.
Yeah.
Banyak
Basically,
kantor
just-
akan
just
di-plan.
using your
Just
brain.
using
Keep
that.
using your brain.
Using your brain.
Because you know, my father-in-law, which I have noticed, okay,
Yeah.
he is, I don't know what age, but he does integration maths.
Yeah, I call
Yeah,
him
yeah,
mathematician.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
I've
people does
seen
that.
him.
It's like maths for fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
Leisure.
Yeah.
Leisure.
No, one of my sons
Yeah.
does that. So he does math so far.
That's one of
Blows
the
my
example
mind.
of brain exercise. Macam
Yeah.
mana kalau ni seduku lah seduku.
Yeah.
Itu pun sudah kepayahan, right?
Yeah.
But you have
Exactly.
to challenge,
Yeah.
to challenge yourself. And then another thing yang brain exercise ni, learning new things.
Oh,
Challenge your brain
yeah.
to learn
Pick up a new
things.
skill. You learn new
Yeah.
things.
Oh, that's good to hear because
Yeah.
I just enrolled myself for violin lessons again.
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
And
Yeah, yeah.
Music,
Music
ah.
has
Because
an effect
the thing
on
is,
the brain.
like violin lessons as well, it's not just music, and then it's the coordination.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh
your
my
brain really
God.
needs to move to
'Cause I
coordinate
tried.
everything.
I
You know?
tried it awal and I kind of quit. It was just too much. It was hard.
It
Plus,
Yeah,
you have to have
is.
determination, right?
Exactly,
To want to
yeah,
do
yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
since I finished my master's at aku pun I felt the brain working.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's working.
Yeah, yeah.
my brain was.
That's true,
Macam
yeah.
kanya-kanya rasa tak
Ah, ya, tu sudah
It's
tak?
working. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And I
yeah.
was like, "Alay ni, gila aku ni." But after that, the funny thing is, after I finished graduation after ni, yes, I can feel it decelerating ke lagi. I
Yep.
can actually feel like, I gotta do something.
Yeah,
gitu
yeah.
ah.
It's just like
Mm.
physical exercise. You have to do it consistently.
Yeah. And I'm
Macam-
happier to
Absolutely.
do it now
Yeah.
because it's like, yeah, I can understand.
Yeah.
Like I can receive. Like,
And the
Yeah.
more you exercise your brain,
The
the
more-
same as people with autism, the sharper it
yeah,
becomes.
Yeah.
that's what I feel.
Yeah. Like in autism, the way they exercise is through repetition. You know,
Macam
doing the
merakat
things-
dia, kan?
merakat everything. Because repetition, it has several functions. One, of course, when you get a new information, okay, sometimes you repeat to yourself. Ya, betul nombornya tadi ya. You keep on repeat to yourself, right? Because it requires something new, so you need to repeat, right? And then through repetition, it creates memory, right? It creates your memory, so your brain is also using it, and then
Yeah.
it's a learning process juga.
Oh.
You know, so that's why the repetition is very, very important.
Right.
So that's why when you pick up a new skill, right? So you repeat
Yeah.
using it, and your brain is like, you know,
It's
when
like
you do-
growing, right?
it's growing. So what happens is that all those cells in there, it starts to shoot out those neurons.
Yeah.
and
If
it
you
forms like
Google
a bridge connection.
neuron,
It's very interesting.
electrical conduction,
Yeah,
itu
it's
letak.
very, very interesting. You can see one cell and another cell. It's just like forming a bridge, like
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
cool,
yeah.
yeah.
And if you don't
Right.
exercise, na the bridge and then die.
Yeah.
That's why,
Yeah.
like,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Yes, yes,
some people
yes.
say, like, some people with autism, they may be like, you know, other reduced function in something, but then they have like highly skill in something else. Because the brain is such an amazing piece of
dynamicnya so complex.
Yeah, you know, just because you're like reducing something, so it just macam, it accommodates itself in another way.
It doesn't allow it to die lah.
No, it doesn't.
Sebenarnya
It doesn't.
If it dies, ketani yang.
Yeah, that's why like for me,
Ketani punya pasal.
That's why when I'm working like with autistic children, and I was talking to the parents, I say we always presume competence.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why, because the human brain is such an amazing organ actually. It's really amazing.
Absolutely, benar tu.
And then coming back to the functioning, I remember when we started to talk about brain health and pasal tasbih and repetition. And I thought Kalina, the reason why I introduced this activity is because it not only train the person punya brain, but also the physical functioning, motor skill. So function of the brain ni satu motor skill functioning pergerakan but there's also memory, second one, and the third one emotion. Our emotion. No, the function of the brain. The function of our brain.
So by doing
physical, emotion, sama memory. So physical we know lah bergerak macam mana. Tapi I remember Kalinda mention your son dia bila dia bertasbih doing repetition so comes
because
down.
like when autistic children they go into meltdown. Right? So of course it's a heightened state of everything. And usually meltdown is because of sensory issues. So of course that's part of the brain job. The brain just cannot process so many sensory at one go.
That affects the person's emotion.
Exactly. It affects the emotion kan. So but because that is one of our calming tools. We use a lot of tools for my son, but like the breathing or count seems to work kan. So we started using like tasbih and istighfar, zikir,
It works.
So it works because it's repetition. Plus he will be focused on the beat.
Lari kemari
Lari ke tangan. So of course he will have to like pay attention at the same time because he has to do like 100, right? So I was like, okay, istighfar 100 times. So he's trying to recite. He's also doing this. At the same time. But at the same time, his brain is doing double because he's also trying to calculate internally juga, the numbers satu. So that will bring him to a focus and calm state. So all that sensory itu kan aligns. So then when he comes down, baru tahu macam okay, so what was happening? Then he can explain like, this is this, as best as he can. And it helps because, like you see, how many functions sudah kan?
So learning all this, right? For people living with dementia, dorang pun ada emotional reaction to however they perceive the world because of the change of the way their brain functions. So there are now many studies that suggest that membaca Al-Quran or alunan Al-Quran itu have an impact on the brain. So these kind of things that we want to start introducing to our people living with dementia. Because another clear research finding sebenarnya apa kan terjadi. But you can see this person responding macam mana. So that's why when we were talking about if it works for people with autism, surely it somehow works for people suffering from dementia. And the theory is that if you integrate Quranic reading or zikir, the progress of the dementia, so istilahnya ada mild, moderate, sama advanced kan? The progress of mild to...
I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Mild to advanced
I'm aware.
You're aware. A lot of people not.
Really?
A lot of people not aware. They think
because people think bila you're mild, people think it's lali. And by the time they realize how that they realize yang changes are so really affecting that person's life,
It's too late.
it was kind of too late. And then the support, and then you have to educate family members. By that time, orang sudah stressed with all
It could have been prevented, what you're saying, right?
Because when you get the term mild, people just think like, oh, it's just mild. But they don't realize that it can deteriorate further.
It's like now's the time to take action.
It's the same with people with autism. That's why now, kalau boleh, we don't use those labeling like, oh, you're mild autism, you're very active, because it tricks the minds of, let's say, the parents, right? Anakku mild juga, so he's active. But they don't realize autism is autism. Everybody has their own challenges to overcome, right? For the people that kid with autism. So when you get label of mild, people just relax, they don't, but actually it can deteriorate.
Help.
Yeah, I've seen kids who are mild just because they get away with a lot of things. They say, oh, you're mild, you're bullying, you can cope with it, but they cannot cope on their own. There's certain things they cannot cope, and it just gets worse and worse and worse until you get to a stage where you are actually a mix of mild and severe.
Yeah, it's gone on up a notch.
Up a notch. Kadang-kadang jump 2 notches, and like by then they're already like in their teens, and it's a bit more difficult, to change all that.
I get it. Scary. I get it.
Yeah. So from child to teen, Ane from when you're 40, baru melangkah ke umur warga emas, and then reaching 50, 60. So by the time you sadar these changes, because it affects that person behavior,
that's true.
It's so hard. And then people, bila sudah terasa changes semani, family will protect them.
Enabler terpulang, enabling terpulang.
Disabling.
It's also the denial, kan?
Right. And then the stigma, people malu. I remember interviewing a carer, a family carer. Mothernya had advanced dementia when I knew them. Actually, the reason why lambat membawa ke klinik is because the father cakap, jangan tadi bawa kerana macam gila. So this kind of stigma, orang takut. So, but I hope with Dementia Brunei raising awareness, it will change over time. We are working on macam early screening, early diagnosis, so that people can be given medication. There are medications to slow down the progress. And of course, the other activities, rehabilitative activities, support group, art therapy, music therapy, and things like that.
Basically, just to get them, just include them in the daily activities.
One thing I'm thinking right now, since you mentioned orang kena cap gila, blah blah blah. My question is so what? I don't think anyone would really be saying that these days.
Do. Even with autism.
Ada.
Autism now, we have a lot of awareness.
Masa je?
Ada.
Gila-gila.
Gila tak anaknya?
Recently, that famous Malaysian singer, KRU.
Yes. His son is autistic.
So recently, I saw his TikTok. Did you see that? Balik ke KL.
I saw you in the UK. Escalate, what did you say?
Dia recently balik ke KL and bawa anaknya. And he was so frustrated that the people around him ignorant. And then it's so sad to hear nya. When my anak cuma tu inda payah dikutuk, hello.
Yeah.
And I was like, mana tu, that's so bad.
I think why I think that orang gonna say this. I don't go out much. I think that's the thing. Literally, I'm in a bubble. Which I do prefer. But for me, it's all good. Positive. But the thing is also, because I do get clients just sometimes saying, I don't want to be seen as this and that. To me, I want people, I want to help people understand, like, people can think whatever, but you know the truth, So let's say the father is saying, but it judges the one who need help.
That's true.
We have to not give a damn what people think,
Well,
that's
it's not easy because it affects that person's emotion.
The person who is malu,
caring for this person.
The one who's carer.
I guess kalau with autism, it's just dealing with the parents. Okay, parents, child, and they're trying to ignore everybody else around them. But I guess with dementia, because the carer will be a family member and several family members, so it's even more difficult to try to convince everybody or to get them to the same way of thinking. Because then they connect with other family members as well. So I think that's the biggest hurdle.
This is like, for example, another client, another person I came across. Ex-government officer, newly diagnosed with newly diagnosed with dementia, and family was really protective of her. Walaupun dia sendiri mau I want to be involved with this, I want to be involved with this.
Yeah.
But family yang cakap, jangan teh, sekarang hairan orang kau lupa-lupa and things like that. Macam itu ba? So for me, yes, logically you can say, so what? Orang pikir whatever they want lah.
No, it's very difficult.
It's more complex than that. It does involve a lot of emotion and frustration from both the carer as well
and the person itself.
Itself.
Benda tahu apa rasanya bila masa cerita this is the movie I need to watch juga. Still Emma. Still Emily.
I think it sounds very familiar.
Still Emma or Still Emily. So kisahnya ni professor or something.
I think so.
Suffering from dementia.
Right.
And dalam movie advertisement she couldn't find the toilet di rumah. So terkamih kan. And she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed by the changes in her behavior caused by these changes in her brain functioning.
Tapi I think
so
for
that
the person,
one belum lagi drop lah because you're conscious.
But
early stage.
Yeah, but then usually kalau tu orang tu maybe they might be feeling that it's their loss of autonomy of their own body ba. So it's scary kan. It's scary.
And then sadar masih.
Sadar masih.
That's the,
and then sadar masih, then you think kalau orang jaga aku, then they have to do this for me.
And aku kalau
they don't want to be a burden.
Sekarang orang melihat semua ni, so they tak lagi withdraw.
And then some people be like, I don't want to be a burden on anybody else. Ada je orang macam tu kan. So it's not just the person, but once the person deteriorates, memanglah yang dah lagi peduli. But then that will be the carer or whoever it is kan. And orang macam ni, you can't have one carer.
Benar.
You can't have one carer.
It's a 24/7.
I think I sent you the article kan. The article saying whoever has dementia, the carer kadang doesn't, the patient outlives the carer. Carer pulang
because the carer burn out.
So stressful.
I mean, carer burn out is a real thing.
It's real.
It can't be
even
one
with parenting,
person.
even with parenting, kids with special needs. Carer burn out is real.
It is.
It is very, very real. Kan? So, tapi macam that denial stage lah. I think it's the initial denial stage that is very, very difficult kan. I think we can overcome.
And if there are no professional support, you can stay in that stage too long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Professional support like counseling, psychologists.
When they engage,
I think it's more like the carer punya support kan, rather than it's the carer punya support.
The carer. You can stay too long.
You can stay in the denial stage too long.
And
then you cannot help this person who's actually having autism or dementia.
Because they're the ones, you need to go through them kan, to go to the person.
So
if they set up that wall, and then progress will happen too fast. Exactly.
For dementia, progress of deterioration. And for autism,
they go really fast as well. They're just like any other kids. They grow up really fast. And I know, like kids with autism, there are parents yang aware mana-mana. They really invest a lot to make sure that their children are educated. In the early stages. I mean, just the early intervention. The education,
early intervention.
Early intervention as well. Tapi kalau yang resistant dari awal, it's not to say like you said, the brain neuroplasticity, it can still go. But it's just that, as you grow older, the process is even much harder. Kan? So,
So, macam, in terms of macam, because me and Kalinda, when we were thinking about, hey, we should talk about this on Nadia's podcast. So, for autism, you want to exercise your brain, make sure the brain health to ensure functioning happens.
And acquisition of skills.
For quality of life. For dementia, you want to exercise your brain, make sure your brain is healthy so that you retain that function as long as possible.
But you like slow down the process.
So that you can enjoy a good quality of life right until the end.
Actually, there were a lot of studies done with, I think even with people with dementia or people with mental health regarding the use of like Quranic recitation and whatever kan. Cuma macam I think belum ada concrete study. But
there are small studies, case studies.
And even with like people, kids with autism or even ADHD, kan, the use of that, it helps manage them so much more.
But I'm sure it does do something because, I only learned to mengaji at 40,
Yeah.
And my brain was doing that again. I was like,
But even for me, because remember I explained about myself, right? So I need that. So even like for my son pun macam like he has to maintain waktu solat on time, the 5. Because that's how he does his grounding and how he like resets his focus every day. So I know kalau a bit askew, have you been maintaining your prayer time? No, so we sometimes affect it. So I was like, okay, reset back and just start back again,
And that's really macam amazing because you can see how effect aku nampak benar bah.
Yes.
But with normal people, tidak berapa nampak kali because ada other factors. Tapi ini because you know how a person with autism punya brain works and you can see the visible change. Itu very clear.
Exactly.
So you clearly know that there is an effect.
There is an effect.
They get thrown off, huh?
They get thrown off. I mean, I just dealt with my son's meltdown at 2 o'clock earlier today, So, but because he was already deep in it, so I have to get him, get it over and done with, go through the whole motion. But when he's like, I'm painful, I'm tired, you can tell me that. Okay. So just take the tasbih. Nah, be care. Or istighfar. Today was like I told him istighfar 100 times. Yeah, he did that. And I could see like, and I said, why do I do now? Okay, go take wudu, salat, whatever. So it helps him grounding. So the grounding is important, kan? So again, that's part of the brain thing exercise too.
What about non-Muslims though? What would they be able to do to ground themselves? Kalau nada this kind of lima waktu apa ni?
Yeah, I mean for non-Muslims, I think that's why you have like meditation.
Oh yeah,
breathing
exercises, right?
Yeah.
Basically grounding and even just getting down the ground. You wanna lie down, refocus, but even if you like wanna lie down the ground.
And then do you recommend it to be at a certain time, at specific time to keep it?
When if you feel that you are really overwhelmed, kan? Just find a place, ground yourself. Go down. Just like a lot of people say, sometimes autistic kids kan, pasal anak punya menimpang whatever. They're trying to ground themselves.
They know what to do.
They know what to do sebenarnya.
Naturally,
naturally. They know what to do. Okay, and then like for people who are non-Muslim, then they can because I know I have some friends who are Hindus or whatever, they have their chant, their fato, kan? Because it's that repetition. It's their repetition. But I mean, I'm not expert, but I mean, I have friends now. So, but I think they find it useful for their own kids as well. And then like even a friend of mine, she's Hindu, and she was saying like they have their yoga. We Muslims have our salat. So we keep to the salat, and they have their yoga or whatever. So, similar jua.
And of course, there's nature. Some people ground by being in touch with nature, taking a walk in nature.
I think that's very important as well.
Forest,
getting reconnected with nature. Because I remember dulu, I think when I was a student, I think one of my professors used to say like, if you feel so overwhelmed with your work, just look outside, look for a green tree. Kan just
apa saja green.
But it's preferably and if you can go out, just go out into fresh air, into nature. Just do that. Take off your shoes. Take off your shoes. Put your feet in the ground.
Grounding.
It's true. It's like putting all the energy out.
So I guess even people with dementia, because they tend, because of the terror punya denial, kadang-kadang grounding just cooped up in the house. It's not good, not just for them, for anybody.
And stress increases the risk of dementia, and people with dementia, kalau stress, it progresses faster as well.
I think sometimes the cortisol level as well.
The stress hormone.
Aku selalu stres kan, Ma?
Aku breathing exercise saja.
Aku sudah.
Aku grounding. Trampoline right next to my
you have to be active, right?
And there are days where I walk on my green grass di belakang itu. To reduce the stress level.
Kan?
Because you don't want the cortisol level to just really get stuck in you, because keras get rid. to get rid of the
Yeah,
stress.
that's
Because I
true.
can see when my son has his meltdown, right? Immediately after that, I can feel because he give like a slight depression massage. It's just, oh, sorry, depression massage. So I could feel you punya muscle ni semua tense. It's like people having a cramp.
Right.
Yeah, so we don't want
Kancang
kancang.
that,
We don't
yeah.
want that cortisol level to be really stuck macam tu bah.
Oh.
Jadi kancang je kan, and that's kind of painful in a way and uncomfortable. So even with people with dementia, it's going to be payah for them kan.
Yeah.
So, can you recommend urut ka? Massages.
Yeah, like,
Will that have any
No.
help?
Hello,
Will
if
help?
it gives if it gives a relaxation.
yeah, but again, it's a person to person. You have to find out what sort of
individual.
massage.
Mana
Some
semua.
people may like
Orang
just
stress pulang ya kan
a gentle stroke saja, or some people like just tekan. Like my son, he likes
Pressure
deep
saja.
pressure, jatuh press, and it's not like macam no, it's just like
Good.
Yeah.
Preference.
That's another thing
Yeah.
about brain health.
Yeah.
With people with dementia as well, people with autism, it's very individual.
It is
So it does take time to get to know this individual and
Yeah.
what works for them. So that's why early recognition, early diagnosis is really important. And for dementia, one of the challenges to among healthcare professionals is identifying it at an early stage.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
For anything really, early stages.
Pasal
kan?
kadang-kadang symptoms to overlap with other things, you know.
But do you have like a national screening program for people of a certain age to
I
dementia?
I have to find out. Tapi there were initiatives to do a national screening program.
Yeah.
Couple of years back.
Okay.
To find out how many percentage are at risk of developing dementia. So Dementia Brunei did that I think 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But to say that mesti
belum ada lah.
I spoke to our geriatric consultant. Kadang-kadangnya you don't want to overdiagnose juga.
Benar pelang.
To make people
Uri terpulang.
you know. So it's a very macam tricky.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it's like first level lah, because you know when they come in for the health check, and then like ada, you know, like
ada
just a basic question, ada kan basic question, and then baru tak.
So sekiranya family
They
ada
qualify to
begitunya,
go for it.
actually my mama ni ada menunjukkan simptom macam bertanya soalan balik-balik over a period of half an hour. Then automatically kena screen ada toolnya, ada specialized.
But you said something about like when your dementia level letter, you can do stuff to prevent it from going further. Can you reverse it though?
I would say no. You can maintain whatever
you can stop
function.
it there wherever it is at,
But not
right?
permanently stop. It's just to slow it down, slow down progression.
But you can't go backwards, right?
You can't go backwards.
Reverse it.
You
So
can't.
totally good.
But in autism, it can regress. Autism can regress. Yeah, regression
In what
can
way?
happen. But then because of outside stimulus juga, stresses from the environment, stresses from whatever lah. So, but the regression is because they go back to finding a comfortable time or a comfortable zone, right? So they just stick to that. So this is
New level lah for them.
It's
They
a new
create
level.
a new.
Yeah, but that's why you don't want them to get stuck in that regression.
You want to progress.
Yeah, so you have to identify to, oh no, okay, regression. Okay, so then you have to gently ease them back into the progression state.
Right.
Because with autism, it's like there is a tendency to regress.
Yeah.
For dementia, for example, there is one person living with dementia in Singapore. Dia pun a very strong advocate lah.
Yeah.
She was diagnosed with dementia our age, 40. And the first symptom she experienced was suddenly ia indah ingat macam mana membuat breakfast.
Suddenly.
Yeah, suddenly. Yeah.
So because of awareness, ia immediately teach herself, like lepas diagnosis and everything, makan ubat and everything, ia teach herself that to cook, ia teach herself that she's a teacher lagi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know how to what PowerPoint.
Yeah.
But she teach herself that.
Was she scared? Did it frighten her? And all
she
this?
was scared, but at the same time, she wants to advocate, make sure if people know that there are changes like this, go get checked up, and then really activate balik your brain satu. It's hard work. Pulang.
It is.
Macam, I think now in her 50s sudah. She's been living with dementia about 10, 15 years already. So the last conversation I had, oh Nika, how are you? Just ia pun organize online support group. I'm actually exhausted now. Imagine you have to really have to work on your brain every day to make sure that it remain
but
like
I
that.
guess it is scary. I mean, I can understand. Macam, kenapa? Masa, I had COVID several times. Okay. I had serious brain fog. Even my youngest one had really serious brain fog. Tapi macam like, I mean, that was really scary. Just not blank.
Like you can't understand, right?
You can't understand
anything, kan?
Yeah.
I had that during my masters.
So it's like
Palangko.
orang
Aku
bercakap
pun
is like,
baru
yes,
experience that. That's
Baru.
why.
Wow.
Like I
You're
need
lucky.
like I need a subtitle for it. Kalau orang bercakap.
Yeah, and I because age lah kali.
Oh.
I'm 45 now. So ni kali brain fog.
Yeah, brain fog.
Like masa I did my master, the first semester, then my classmates are in their 20s. They were very young, right?
Yeah.
And then I thought, yeah, no problem. I'm ready for this. Motivated kan. I sat in the class. I couldn't understand a word.
Yeah, it's like everybody saying blah 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 blah.
I'm stupid. I actually said, benar. And I was like, did you get that? And then they're like, yeah, you have to do whatever, right? And I was like, okay, that's it. Gila, aku sudah ni. Mana?
I asked the same question. I attended the conference, Dementia conference.
Yang kemudian
no, another one in China. I was going with a doctor who is in her late 20s lah. So it was one of the topics yang very scientific.
Heavy.
Very technical.
Oh no.
Sekali lecture ni dapat. You get better. You can hear everything.
Kali yes ya. Ya faham kan?
Like, and then aku rasa macam aku dengar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like they say like when you reach a certain age, right? When you watch TV kan, you need subtitles. When you turn around, macam dah faham.
This is an example of changes in your brain lah. Pasal senses kan.
Tahu sudah terasa ke? It's not funny, okay? I was like, I was doubting myself.
Saja, it's serious.
Yeah,
benar. I actually almost quit though after my first semester was the worst, and then. But you know what helped though? I did approach my lecturer and I told them how I was feeling. I cannot understand a word. And then I realized, I said, I think it's pasal COVID wara to. And I really think it's that. That's the only explanation, okay? Because I remember I read a lot, John. Saluran ya, cuma. But then it's because verbal line kan, you have to listen kan, macam ina masuk. So, but having said that and identified the feelings, I felt better.
Yeah.
So, it's an example of support you get lah. So, imagine people with autistic and people with dementia, they need this kind of support to validate how they feel, the changes, and then the support system that allows them to continue on to use their brain.
It's true. So, if you're a carer or if you're someone with experiencing dementia, you gotta talk to someone. Really, you just have to get that support. Kalau nada, you're gonna think the worst of yourself. It's gonna be worse than it actually is. Terpulang,
Negative.
In Brunei, we never actually have the opportunity to research people with dementia because of stigma. But I have a feeling they feel exactly the same way.
I'm sure they do. It is a scary time to be kalau when you start to experience that kan.
It's frightening because you don't know what's happening. Especially if it's not your area. Let's say dementia. Bukannya aku faham dementia ni. I have not studied it, right? But if I hear bits and pieces, like I can get like if I don't help myself, it's gonna go down. Okay, I'm gonna go down. I can feel, I know it. Because I'm like that, and plus I don't work then. I mean, I do work now, but like, but this is this is why you see,
structured.
You see, so I did. I was saying to somebody when I became housewife, I was busy with the kids. Now kids basar. I'm actually by myself. And I can feel macam, what am I doing? Nakam Netflix all day long. Which was what I was doing.
For your brain.
Exactly.
No
Precisely. Nada. And not at all. So when I decided to do masters, that was the reason why. Payah kan ta for my brain kan. But it's more like like myself knows that if I quit now, then I cannot cannot say anything,
That's a good
like
example because artinya macam like this is how it is kalau if you don't exercise the brain.
Yes.
You gotta push yourself.
You gotta push
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
If you
It's
don't
a
exercise the brain,
conscious decision.
it has to be conscious.
And you
Yeah.
gotta know that you're good
Yeah.
was sebenarnya.
Okay.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
like for me, it's like, even though I found it tough, I know I can do it, ba. If I was
Yeah.
20, I'm sure I could nail this, you know,
Yeah.
like in the jakan, because
Yeah.
I need interest about this counseling.
Yeah.
It was very odd for me to feel like I want to quit, but how it was consciously decided that I want to do it. Itu the connect
That's true.
macam mana boleh kan quit apa? Sedangkan I did my degree and I hated it.
Yeah.
You know, I can score
yeah,
like
yeah.
Do you feel that complexity? Macam, you get it lah. And come on, tapi kan quit.
yeah, it was so
So-
disconnect.
Yeah. So remember, like earlier on when you say, if so what at all? That's the kind of complexity people
Yeah.
living with a condition
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah,
It's not
macam
like
uphill
black and
ba?
white. Bukan
Yeah.
black and white.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
uphill confusion, right?
It doesn't help if you don't get the support. That's why carer is the biggest hurdle though. If the carer really, really, form a wall, I have to go.
Yeah, then you really have no choice. You just set yourself up for like
Yeah.
disaster. Basically. I'm so glad because this year I'm 46. Okay, and I feel my brain can work. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like it's like got
Yeah.
enough.
working.
Yeah, I can
It's
like
working.
take on things. You
Yeah.
know,
But
like
remember I mentioned like for me, right? I used to multitask, right? But I came to a certain point in my age where that doesn't work anymore.
jangan nyusahkan diri ya.
Jangan menyusahkan diri. Because if you overwork your brain pun
Too much
too much
juga.
juga. You
Yeah,
see?
it's gonna be an enjoyable level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Namanya brain health.
No, exactly. Brain health kan. Yeah.
So when coming to myself, when I do my counseling, it's at an enjoyable rate at the moment. You know,
Yeah.
like there's clients, but it's not like overwhelmingly that I'm gonna kill myself. You know that feeling, you know,
Yeah.
inside that.
Yeah.
It's like very good
Yeah.
now.
The pace is nice and things like that.
Yeah, and I look
Exactly.
forward for whoever made
Comes in.
appointment. It's
Yeah.
really fun for me right
Yeah.
now.
That's why I can run without realizing it, I've been running the support group for 10 years juga kan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's online. It's
So
online.
it's manageable.
It's manageable. Because if you meet too many people pun macam, difficult to handle je, and then being my condition je kan. Tapi it's manageable in a sense that I'm still connected to people. I'm still giving out information.
It's on your terms. You're
It
like
is on my
good
terms.
with.
Yeah, but at least at the same time, I am able to regurgitate my whatever is in my memory. So really using it up juga kan. Macam-
We need to know who we are, what we're
Yeah.
up for. You know, like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. But again, the question, there is a question that how long can I do this? Because I'm already like in my 50s as well. So how long can I do this? I'd like to be able to maintain my brain health, kan? But at the same time, it can be exhausting. Of course, it is very exhausting, right? That teacher. But it still needs to be done. You still need to push on, lah. Kan? Yeah.
So you
Kan?
need to find that pace that
Yeah.
fits you at
Exactly.
that particular
Yeah, like you said, individualized kan.
Then just by burnout.
Benar pelang tu.
We
Kan?
understand burnout.
Oh yes, we do. Because kalau
Yeah.
sudah burn out, everything shuts down and
Yeah.
payah tu lagi.
Oh.
But the scary part is the recovery part. Once you get that. But interesting enough, I think I came across this. I don't know, it was a documentary or something, but I think it was in Japan. So they have this cafe.
Yeah.
So they said like this cafe macam don't expect anything.
The Dementia
Yeah.
Cafe.
Yeah, the Dementia Cafe. Like
So
that was
cute.
very interesting. That is so cute. I was like, okay, lama ni menunggu.
We have a
Don't go
space
there
in
when you're
DVD.
hungry.
That I want to do that.
I know, like don't go there when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Or you expect the mistake, like what are they gonna bring me?
Yeah.
Exciting lah.
Exciting,
gitu.
yeah. Because-
But that is the type of support.
Exactly,
Kami
yeah.
datang ke sana pun, we are as a community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know
supporting.
it is
Ah.
that.
This is what I mean.
Purpose.
Like they need to be out there, bah.
Mm.
This is even with my mom. Macam I just said, oh, she's doing ni. Dia she's the jet setter now. She's the one that goes here and there. Kan? Dia it keeps her happy and keeps her mind going. Kan?
Yeah. When because I advocate for brain health and lama na sudah for the aging community.
Yeah.
So macam my mom, kusuruh buat sayur and
Yeah.
everything. like the Montessori style,
Yeah.
to preparekan all the sayur yang you suka, and then the knife, and so buat it like you used to. That is brain exercise as well, you know. Tapi kadang-kadang orang luar melihat, kesian je kau suruh mama macam tu. And then, my mom, the exercise, right? So when she was well enough, I actually encouraged her to naik kereta tinggi kami atas so that ada a little bit of climbing, and it was all good, you know. So tapi orang luar melihat, kesian je kau paksa mama mu naik kereta tinggi. But it's brain. It's not just physical exercise. It's really exercising that part of the brain that controls your legs.
Sure, and like me now, I don't care what people say. No, this is me, okay? I don't give a damn, okay? Like, because my parents, they live in Tutong, right?
Yeah.
By themselves, kan tak? I mean, I would love them to live nearer, closer, so I can see them every day, aku lagi takut driving, Jojo, I'm not used to it. But, you see, my dad drives, and then we were thinking, it's okay kalau di Tutong. It's a small, everyone knows everyone, so and then there are several times he's left his car unattended, switched on. But I do get called. Tell around how to reach me, which is amazing. Like, I'm like, did you do it?
That's the thing about a small community.
It's safe,
even my parents live on their own di Lumot. We don't worry so much because everyone knows them.
Exactly.
Exactly. They were saying, jangan suruh bapa mu driving. So, apa tah? What am I supposed to do? Put the car away and like, apa cana? Don't let them out the house. Like, think, okay, we have to still let them live by, So I'm like, no,
as long as they can do it safely.
So for me, it's like, I mean, I used to get worried, but this comments on karang kan ucap menjaga parents. But you know what? Until the day comes, But right now, they can still
they still like
do
the independence.
things,
They like the independence.
I cannot, commit them, have them committed, like this kind of thing. So I said,
living independently requires a lot of what they call it executive
functioning. That's part of
brain health as
brain
well.
Health.
If you semua kena jagakan, you are not going to exercise that part
the
of the brain.
Exactly.
And then it will just deteriorate, and as you age, it will deteriorate faster.
Hareto, my parents, Amah balik. And then lama she didn't come back. Actually, she didn't come back.
She didn't come back.
She didn't really come back. It's marah ko. But the thing is, what happened was, we checked on them and said, you can bring your laundry here or wash it, whatever kan. And dorang ni lagi gagah. We can do it. I said, mana saja. So, and then one time we visited Banar, but laundry dorang, but hanging. I said, who hang these clothes out here? Like, me, mommy, mo, daddy, whatever lah. I was like,
proud of it.
that's quite good.
They're proud of it, They're proud of being able to do that.
And emotional connection.
And it's not a lot of laundry, okay? It's not like macam kami lima orang. It's just orang dua.
Exactly.
They can manage it. Okay. Macam mata mama. And then kalau food, how do you makannya? Banyak kedai kan, cafe apa.
Exactly,
and then like, no problem. My dad lagi, I don't know kalau bandar kinda, but everything is no problem. I'm like,
his attitude, no problem.
Sometimes if it's something quite serious, we're worried kan tak? Macam, then I'll stop my, whoever yang, campaigning to like, do something. Sabar no problem tu. Lihat saja. Because when we get worked up, yan macam nada tu.
Berapa umurnya now?
He's, I don't know, 86. Was it 86? 87? How old is he?
87.
87? I can't even remember. 86. So sometimes aku macam, I will only take action if they can tell me, I need help, which I know they'll never bilang. But like, we'll observe lah. Tapi it seems fine. You know what my dad did, Areto? Kan Samsung birthday, they came to the house evening ba, So I said, okay. And then my bad mood ni, keluar kereta bad mood. I said, oh my God, my mom's driving. She hasn't driven in years, right? Kenapa mommy driving? Daddy mo menyuruh driving. I was so scared. I was like, why did you drive? And they know he goes, you see she can do it.
They're challenging each other.
And I said, why did you have to drive? And then he goes, Daddy sakit kaki niya. He couldn't drive or something like that. Then he forced my mom to drive. My mom lagi drama. he forced me to drive. Mau je. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's confused ko. Itu macam, oh my god, cycle to cycle. Sekali at the end, macam the evening went on, and then time to go back. I said, okay, malam sudah tidur saja di rumah. No need drive lah. If it's so, menyusahkan diri. And then they were like, but it stopped raining. It's a nice weather. Malam. Okay, we go back lah. Siapa driving? Ready sajalah. He can drive. And he recovered. Whatever it was, he recovered. I said, okay, excuse me. So, driving Norga. I said, sabar I go. They're fine. So it's hard to understand sometimes, but like,
that's why with technology nowadays, it's easier to encourage our parents to be independent. Pasal, there are camera kind of thing. You can
kami ada AirTag lagi tu orang kereta.
Track where they're about. Si my husband, di tracknya ke husband, bapanya kalau ke KK, sudah sampai sini. There is that technology. So it's easier lah nowadays to encourage our older people to still maintain their independence. I remember my father, masa driving Vios, he only in the drive long distance, right? Dari Lumut ke bandar. Tapi when he's in bandar, he'll drive himself, figuring out jalan baru. Masih to, walaupun telanggar bandol, my father-in-law was like, kau suruh bapamu drive, habis bandol ya. It's okay, Viosnya tu, it's okay. It's fine.
It's not a Mercedes.
But he enjoyed himself, the stress, and he connects with different people, the society. These are all part of brain health.
Exactly.
My mom just wants to travel to Singapore by herself, and she's like,
Agatha,
kakinya sakit and whatever. But she's like, I can do it. Ada tu sekarang di Singapore, ada tu. I can always call somebody, whatever, at the airport. Okay.
Menakut, kudengar. Okay, go.
Okay.
Mana?
But it's true because when she travels after it, hilang rasa sakit kaki.
Happy hormones.
They're perfect. Macam that day yang aku marah mah, ingat tak? Darang my mom kan kemana? Cambodia. Oh my god, I was so mad. They were like, Mami kan ke Cambodia. Siapa whatever, right? And then I was saying to my sister, jangan, she can't even walk. She can't even whatever, kan? And then I realized, wait, who am I to say? Like, at the end, who was I saying that? You're still the kid, you know what I mean? Your parents still they will do what the hell they want to do. You
until
can't
they
stop
realize,
them.
until they sendiri realize.
So I was like,
no, because I suspect, like the way I observe my mom, like the older she gets, the more she wants to hang on to their autonomy.
Of course.
The more she wants to hang on to her independence.
And driving is one of the symbol of autonomy. That's why it's so hard to let go.
Yeah.
But my mom too lama sudah give up driving because she said like roads di bandar ni like.
Di bandar, no.
But that's her choice, huh? That's her conscious choice.
That was a conscious choice.
That's brilliant.
But sana mami, go for your, she has her Quran group or ngaji group, whatever. Ada tu nya auntie waktunya, turun dah tu. Mami bayarlah, punya, she's so resourceful. She's so resourceful. Kadang you say, do you want me to pick you up? Depan ya, ada. Kami kan mengupi lagi. Oh, wow.
That's the best.
And then she'll send us pictures,
Oh, yeah.
Right? So macam, okay, never mind. She's in her happy zone with her friends. Whatever.
But I think it starts when you're young anyway, like even like if you're still working apart, you still have to have that life outside of work. You can't wait to the then think, what do I do now with myself, Kita jadi tua tu mah.
Oh yeah.
Lagi doktor. Tapi benar, right? That's why like at one point I remember being quite active doing stuff then, and I want to bring people to do with me this kind of stuff, like activities apa. And I'm like, aku kerja, aku ni like. Tapi at the end it's like kerja is one thing, okay, but after there's got to be some kind of interest that you have that you can do anyway, like. Because what happened, like, I remember my mom, the day she started to macam retire, dia tak kusut gila tu. Macam she doesn't know what she is anymore. Without that job.
Identity.
It's like job is life,
the job has become the identity.
Yeah, so when it was time to retire, it was so stressful for her. And luckily, I think I was in UK. Was I here? I don't remember. But I wasn't around to witness the chaos. You know? But there was like, she's so pemarah now, you know. And I'm like, okay, bye. You know, like I don't know, you know. But you
but
see,
I think she was just finding her way.
yeah,
as
it's
well.
new. Like, okay, tambah lagi, you know, that is all she enjoyed. So when you try to get another life out of work, the brain does undergo some kind of
because
switch,
the brain is like
kan?
kind of like sorting itself out.
Yeah.
It's just sorting itself-
Reprioritizing.
reprioritizing, but just sorting itself out. And
That's why I love to see, you know, some people I follow on Facebook and IG. They're berumur, but they travel, they take their spouse here and there, and they're just enjoying without the children. I mean, that's great. I can't wait for that. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, just like I remember you spoke earlier, pasal, you know, before you did your masters, kan? Then the kids are slightly older, and then like you got a bit more free time. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't watch Netflix. So, for me, what I did was I decided to travel because we had a mini reunion for my, you know, these are friends from my childhood, kan?
Oh, yeah, yang di Singapore ni.
No, this was way before that. We had one reunion. So sekali macam like, okay, why don't I just go, kan? So I just went. Oh, it was so good because literally, like the brain was like resorting itself out, but also recalling old memories, you know, with your friends and creating new home memories at the same time, kan?
It's important, right? So this is your social circle, right? Is that what you're
I mean, here, macam, I don't socialize much because I'm so busy with the kids. So
you're in a bubble too?
I'm in a bubble too. I was in a bubble for a very long time. You know, so but then the thing is, like, I thought I retired from, you know, doing advocacy at one point.
Okay.
But some people got my number and then they start calling me.
You can't retire from that, really.
When you retire, so
it's
that's
you now.
So
people
that's how
need
the coaching just picked up again, and you know, and the support group. But I find that it's more manageable now as opposed to if I was in a physical center and I have to be there, sit there every time, and then can nguruskan my kids, but I have to be there 24/7. But this way is so much more flexible, and I find my brain's like, okay, the multitasking like reduce ticket tapi more manageable. Not as much intense as before.
Yeah, and most of your clients they need online.
Yeah, they need online.
They prefer job online.
Yeah, they prefer online.
Like I would love to do counseling online sahaja. But which I thought people want. Kalau rupanya clients want to see face to face. I'm like, huh?
Okay. There are research around that. It's there is actually extra effect when it is
face to face.
Especially for counseling lah.
So, but then
connection
based on the client lah.
That is the kajetku because
kalau maintenance saja boleh online, but like early stages when things are complex, masih like macam
I think she's the second person to point out that thread.
Painting on my wall. That is true. I mean, that's why I had to make this place. Ikut rules ataupun I cannot have it in my home. I mean, I prefer not to lah. Not.
But Linda, I have one question, right? Macam podcast
Go ahead.
Macam aku curious because I've been doing a lot of studies on aging, right? So kalau people with autism, what kind of support do they need as they age? Because now they're living healthier because of awareness and living longer as well. People with any different disabilities what kind of support?
Well, again, because autism is a spectrum, kan? So we see how they are severely challenged or how they're challenged according to the severity nya lah. So I guess the ones that are severely challenged dari awal, they will require that support even at a later age.
Similar support,
especially if they never or they had very minimal early intervention or for some reason they cannot acquire certain skills like toileting memang dari awal. So
severe lah.
So it carries over till sampai old age lah.
But now because of awareness and early intervention, there are also people living with autism who are functioning in the society. So young this group of people as they grow older, if they reach age 50, so I'm not aware of very how.
But I guess again because it is human at the same time. So some may go through the process of dementia.
That is possible.
That is possible.
That is risk.
That is the risk. That is possible.
So autism and dementia.
It can happen.
It
But probably
increases the risk.
but I guess by that
Oh.
time, the autism I think nampak because it's already dementia.
Oh, wow. It overtakes it.
It overtakes it because we just simply don't know how the brain works. I mean, this is just hypothetical lah, because I need to read up on that one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, but I guess it can happen. It can happen. So kalau yang the one yang really, I mean, so far the ones that I've seen lah, yang really berumur berapa now, they seem to really function as usual. Just like they age, just like anybody. Okay, but these are we talking the one who can function dari awal lah. Okay, so they age just like anybody. But whether they can develop dementia, that is again I need to look into that one as well. I guess it is possible.
Yeah,
it is
it
possible.
never really crossed my mind because aku pun baru belajar kan. For people with special needs and how do they grow old? Because I have a distant relative, tapi Down syndrome, but they live long. Macam dulu like decades ago, people with Down syndrome do not live long. But now they are living longer through their 50s and 60s because of our efficient healthcare system.
Tapi even with autism, again, like you said, it's a support at the time. But there are people with autism, probably their lives will be shortened due to other reasons.
Other health issues.
Not just health issues. Some can be for health issues because I do know that there are some because of their diet where they only eat one thing. So of course they develop a lot of illnesses lagi kan. Okay, so probably that their life will be cut short because of those either diabetes or whatever, right? But there are those who are due to mental health reasons because they did not get the support because they are just so functioning, they look so normal, right? People not listening to them when they have like depression, anxiety. So then their life
they don't know how to express.
Even though they're verbal, they might not be able to. So those people, their life can be cut short because of suicide. You know, drug use. Because addiction is quite high among people with especially people with ADHD as well, and autism, right? But I mean those kinds of things. But they can grow old, macam biasa. But I think the main support would be maybe just the mental health.
Mental health.
The mental health part.
And need more support groups. Yang understanding, yang in the judgy.
Because
so that would be lain lagi kan?
Lain lagi tu.
But again, probably at that age, let's say they're in the 70s, they will be in the care of family members. So the question is again, the carer macam mana?
And family dynamic are changing as well, kan? You have smaller families and highly likely these people will not be married, they won't have their own children. Sedangkan we sendiri, our culture depends on anak menjaga parents. But now we have people who do not have children. Kan? So that's a big question.
That's right. And then there are some people that, I mean, this is based on what I've read, and there are some people with autism, they find it difficult to maintain, that relationship, like in marriage or whatever, because maybe the spouse might not understand them fully. It's difficult to live with people like this. So then they either end up alone,
and then progress.
And just progress, progress faster. So again, probably that's something definitely need to look into that.
Definitely, So that's why, back to our topic, brain health. I mean, as much as possible, we must maintain our brain health.
What should we? What should we eat?
So, apart from like normal balanced diet, reducing sugar, raw sugar, your favorite chocolate,
Tapi dark chocolate can.
Dark chocolate can.
Dark chocolate.
Chocolate.
70% above.
But the latest study shows that Mediterranean diet is
Mediterranean. Oh, okay.
You
Greek lah. Apa
Explain
Mediterranean? Greek
macam
apa oils and all this.
olive
olive oil,
olives, grill, fish,
seafood kan, seafood,
less red meat.
Oh,
red
really?
Meat,
okay. But chicken okay lah.
Instead of using sugar, white sugar ke brown sugar, the pesan ni
We've run out of time now.
So just a recap: exercise your brain,
Okay,
and your
recap.
diet, good diet, maintain a good
Yeah. What
diet.
do I
Balanced
remember? I don't know.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay, so for dementia, for reducing the risk of dementia, well balanced lifestyle. So artinya maintain your diet, kurangkan gula. If you have health condition, make sure you maintain your health. Go to the hospital, watch your cholesterol level, your sugar level.
Exercise.
And then cognitive exercise. Learn something new all the time. Read, do math.
Like
Yeah,
math. Stress pulang ko.
Do math. Macam started this year, I actually learned coding. Dah pulang. I don't understand it still. But I challenge myself to understand it. To understand it. So those kind of exercises, it doesn't have to be perfect. Learning new things.
Your
Something
interest.
just push
Expand
it.
on your interest.
Just push your brain until your brain
Push your
kanyat.
Yeah, when you get that, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, but if you have a migraine, it's a different effect. So that I just stop that. So I guess with autism, it's basically the same thing as well, because you need to give your children that cognitive exercises as well, right? Stimulation and whatever. Do early intervention, when you're diagnosed young. Go ahead with the early intervention. Push that denial the back.
Seek help.
Seek help.
Denial.
Educate yourself as well.
Yeah,
So,
denial just ruins everything.
Yeah. I mean, for anything.
Denial on aging pun as well.
I know. So so it's basically kind of similar. That brain just needs to be healthy. It needs to exercise.
To be stimulated differently.
Be social. Don't be so di rumah saja manusia lang.
I know even autistic kids, walaupun they payahkan or socialize, but just bring them out. Bring them
meeting a new environment.
New environment. Just introduce them to new environment, grounding.
I guess you mustn't care what people say and look when they pandang whatever.
Exactly.
Who cares? We must not care.
And diet. I know it's not easy for autistic kids because sometimes they're very, very, they call it, the loose term is picky eaters, but there are ways to it.
Oh, that's another podcast, huh?
That's another podcast.
We can talk about that.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Okay, so last words.
No.
Advice.
Maintain your brain health.
Yeah.
It's worth it. Just assume we're going down sudah and start from where you are today.
And as autism parents as well, not just you maintain your kids' brain health, your own brain health.
Your own brain.
You're learning at the same time.
Continue to function.
And you keep on learning about your kids. Keep on learning.
New experience comes every day.
Exactly. Your kid learns a new skill. You put. Or then you pick up a new skill together.
That'd be fun, like painting, whatever, right?
Art. I know.
So brain health, is what I learned is very dynamic. And before this, I do not really think about my workout as one thing that affects my brain health.
We just think it's for our body, right?
No, it has a huge effect on your brain. So I must do it. Walaupun half an hour yang ku manage, I must do it
Banyak jadi orang rasanya.
You can't jump berjalan.
Just do something. Walking. You can walk.
I can walk. Yes, I walk.
Come on.
I can walk.
Get rid of that cortisol, stress hormones, replace with happy hormones. So emotional health, social health, physical health, cognitive health, and both areas. For people who are aging, for people who are living with autism.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's essential. It doesn't have to be so pricey and so complicated.
No,
right?
challenges. I used to challenge my husband like, okay, what's the activity for our children? Like something free. We go hiking. We go look at overgrown park. We go to overgrown park. We have a lot of those. Okay.
Your imagination, right?
Creativity, you are being creative in finding this.
Or let your son dig up your front yard with full of posters for dinosaur bones.
Whatever, right?
And
I don't really like it when people will use the cost of something as an excuse. And then they'll be like, boleh kami
no, the challenges
there's alternatives, which is
something that you don't have to spend money on.
Food lah, for example. And we're focusing on protein, right?
Yeah.
Aku beli ikan rumahan kilo and you grill it. That should last like 2 hari at least. And that's just like $5 a kilo.
Yeah.
Good one. Frozen one, cheaper even.
Yeah.
Di waho.
Yeah, whatever it is,
Yeah,
right?
so it's how you educate yourself. Sebenarnya apa essence-nya?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do more talking about this in future, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah.
Maybe see how your life, what changes you made. We can do that. I can come to your house, do a video on what you do. That'd be cool. Yeah, because we have to have example. We can't just say, this is what you do. But then, people will say, yeah, but do you do it? This is what I always do to professionals. Like when I hear them talk, like,
Yeah, but
yes,
on my Instagram, you can see my son using the tasbih.
yeah,
to
that's
calm down,
good, right? I mean, that is
And I
in
integrate
practice.
gardening into my
Yeah.
workout this
Yeah.
week on my IG.
Yeah.
Pasu.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my God,
I have a food garden. We actually have a kitchen garden. Yeah.
I must say, I saw
Yeah, masih ada,
that.
but it's now like more of permaculture. So we just let it grow by itself.
And you don't look after it?
We don't really look after it, but it
Uh.
grows very well, and we can still harvest, what we want from there.
I find plants grow better when you don't look at it too much.
I know. Bila dijaga macam,
Oh, mati
my
pula kan?
herbs, my rosemary, like sekali
Jadi
I
bagi
leave it and I'm
uang.
like, wow, that's
Sunday
going really well.
gardening.
Yeah.
Doesn't care too much for those plants.
Yeah, you stick it in the ground, just let it go, and like voila.
Happy pulang dorang.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys. Thank you
Okay.
so much for
Alright.
coming out and
Yeah,
talking.
till next time.
Yeah,
Thank you
till
for
next time
having us.
again. We'll see you again. Thank you for
Okay.
joining our podcast.
Bye. Assalamualaikum.